I was actually asked by the state to give a formal declaration on my stance with regard to the potential of enforcing or not enforcing the governor's orders. It wasn't intended to get a response. It was intended to reply to a request from the law enforcement director, and so I did. I do know that because of the intense phone calls, emails, people stopping me, there was a lot of concerned folks that I deal with on a daily basis, and you really don't know what you're going to deal with people as far as their requests. But when you pick up the phone and you've got people in tears talking to you about them losing their houses, losing their livelihoods, losing these things because they can't go to work, that has a tendency to send a different message out than some of the folks that are, I'm going to say, that are responding negatively to that letter. My concern pretty much at that point was to help the folks that need to be helped, and also the reason I went into depth on that letter was that everything that has happened since this thing has started, nothing and none of what was predicted has come to fruition. My entire command staff have spent multiple hours, and I mean multiple hours, dealing with the local public health who has to deal with the state directives. We got to a certain point where we were meeting, collaborating, making sure everything was taken care of, and when this thing started, okay, we got something serious. We don't know. I've been here 41 years and I've never had to deal with a pandemic or a declaration like this. We started having the meetings, and then I watched Governor Newsom on the television single out one county, and his reaction to that singling out told me that if this was truly that pandemic or epidemic, he shut the beaches down in one county. Counties to the north and south were left open at that point. Okay, was it that county was the only one who was going to have this virus? Then he made a comment a few weeks ago, and he made this statement about we don't want to be oppressive. Well, he's already thinking about oppression. So dealing with this, had any of the worries come to fruition, I'm not saying that this isn't a valid disease. It's serious. And I want people to take the disease seriously like they do with the swine flu or the valley fever or all these other things that we have to deal with on a regular basis. Tuberculosis, we have to deal with chronic diseases out there when we're dealing with people. Some of these diseases, if law enforcement gets, that's a career ender. And yet no pandemic has been declared up until now. This specific disease got a name. Every research, everything that I've checked on this has not put our county in any higher significant rate of mortality or illness than any other previous flu season. And in fact, our death numbers are lower this year than they have been. The three constants that have been with this pandemic for protecting yourselves have been wash your hands or hand sanitizer, social distancing, and wear a mask when you need to if you can't do the social distancing. That's the only three things that have been constant. Everything else has been up in the air. But our last meeting that I had with the local public health directors with our administration, we spent 2 hours, probably 6, 7 hours in meetings pertaining to planning and doing everything in the future. When we got done with that one specific meeting, we had a roadmap set out. And when their directive came out a day, 2 days later, it was completely different than what we had discussed. I've watched the governor time and time again, oh, we're going to give it to the local jurisdictions, but they need to do it this way. Well, that's not giving it to the local jurisdictions. Merced County is different than Stanislaus County, which is different than Madera County, which is different than Mariposa County. This is a land of free choice, and our Constitution says that. When we start talking about people's rights and what going into the business, they have a right. If they go up to a business and go, you know what, they're not doing anything safely enough for me, don't go in. You have that choice. You can turn around, walk away. Or you can take your own precautions with you at this point until they say, you know what, ollie oxen free, the pandemic is over, we've got a vaccine, we've got it and all's good. But until that happens, take the directives seriously. Don't crowd into places. Don't get silly. Don't crowd into bars. Do I think that the bars can open up? Yeah, I do. I think that they can do that with social distancing, and I think that we need to make sure and have an opportunity for these folks to start making a living. I'm not telling you to open willy-nilly. I'm just saying allow these folks to make a determination, follow the directives, come out by the public health department. That's their job, the public health department. And you know what? Hey, they're right. Let's have some stuff at the door. Let's wash your hands. Let's do this. But we can do this wisely. Base your decisions on what you know, but the numbers keep moving around. So that's why I reacted. That's why I'm taking the stance that I'm doing.